A lot of you would have heard of Jordan Peterson. He's a clinical psychologist who's blown up big here on YouTube with his lectures and his advice and his, outlook on life. If you haven't heard of him, on the slim chance you've not heard of him, then go and check out his videos, because there's some really, really good stuff and some really sort of profound, interesting stuff in there. But one thing he did say, which I found particularly profound and actually helped me in both my gambling recovery and in other elements of my life where I've wanted to make changes, was in the way that you look at yourself, the way you compare yourself with others. And what Mr. Peterson, Dr. Peterson says is that compare yourself to who you were yesterday and not to who someone else is today. So if you have a goal, if you have an aim of someone you want to be like, or a place in your life where you want to be, then take steps, more steps today, do more action today, commit yourself more today than you did yesterday in achieving that goal. But don't compare yourself to someone who's already achieved that goal. If you're like me and you're overweight, compare yourself to, what your routine was yesterday. Compare yourself to how you ate and how you exercised yesterday. Have you improved over what you were doing yesterday? Don't compare yourself to the guy on the front of Men's Health magazine, because there's nothing you can do in yourself today to go from this 18 stone of, overweight fat bloke to being on the cover of Men's Health tomorrow. And that's not a useful comparison, because ultimately, it's going to take, if you do want to end up like that, it will take years and years and years, and your motivation simply won't last that long. If you can be better than you were yesterday, however, and you continue that process, and every day you're better than you were yesterday, then eventually you will get closer to that goal. You may never achieve that goal, but you get closer to that goal. If you want to succeed in business, if you want to build a business from the ground up, do something today that you didn't do yesterday. Even if that's registering an eBay account, setting up a business bank account, doing something towards ultimately reaching your goal. If you sit down and you don't do that, and you sit on YouTube and you watch videos about Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, and that's who you aspire to be like, you're not achieving anything. Watching 3 hours of videos about Elon Musk, whilst it's something I might do, and is actually I think the bloke's fascinating, you're not getting any closer to achieving your own goals, to achieving your own dreams, by reflecting on the successes of others. If I'd spent that 3 hour time period, like I say, starting an eBay account, or whatever your business aspirations are, starting a YouTube account, if you spend the time doing that, doing something that you didn't do yesterday, then you're ultimately going to get closer and closer to that. And I mentioned YouTube, funnily enough. The amount of people who I speak to and stuff, and I let them know I do YouTube videos in a very, very small scale. Don't get me wrong, I'm not getting any kind of ideas, above my station here. I understand this is a really, really small potatoes. Okay, and they go, oh yeah, no, I've always thought about doing YouTube videos. Well, in which case, stop watching YouTube videos and just record something, anything. If you think it's interesting, if you think people might like it, if you think people might relate to it, if it's something that's close to your heart, the reason I started my channel, then record it, open an account, really easy, and do it, and put a video out there. In the time it takes you to sit there and watch a podcast, you could have done something productive and has taken a small step towards what you ultimately want to achieve. Compare yourself to what you did yesterday and who you were yesterday, and not to these beacons of aspirational people and people that are great role models. But if you could always compare yourself to the best of the best, if you always compare yourself to these benchmarks that are so far off in the distance, then you'll never do anything, and you'll never make improvements in your life. When I was at my lowest ebb, when I was at rock bottom, an example day may have been that I called in sick to work, that I didn't get out of bed until lunchtime, and when I did get out of bed, I just lounged on the sofa, being depressed, eating crap out of the fridge, watching daytime TV, ultimately end up gambling in some way or form, until the evening came, and then I'd drink a few beers and fall asleep in front of the telly. That was a bad day, it had all the bad elements of a day in there. I was incredibly unhealthy, I was unmotivated, I wasn't working as I should, I was neglecting my work, and obviously I was gambling. If at that point I wanted to be better, I wanted to be thin, I wanted to be free of gambling, I wanted to be out of debt, I wanted to be motivated, I wanted a promotion, I wanted all these things, and these are all good things to aim for. There's nothing I could do in that one day that would transform me from, gambling addicted couch potato slob to, highly successful, highly ambitious, highly motivated, free of debt, loads of money in the bank, you know, nice house, all the rest of it. I couldn't do that overnight. Nothing I could do in that day would make me that person that I aspired to be. So all I have to do is be better the next day. And that might just involve something as stupid as getting up, having a shower, going to work, and actually being productive in some way for that day. If we take gambling purely as the biggest issue, and if you're watching this video, the chances are it may be your biggest issue. Where do you want to be? Well, we all want to be, as gambling addicts, we all want to be free of gambling. We want to be non-gamblers. We want to be out of debt. We want to have income to spend on other things. We want to rid ourselves of the mental issues and the financial issues, the relationship issues, and all the other problems that we've created ourselves through this addiction. That's where we want to be. And, you know, you could pick an arbitrary person that you know, and you think, well, they've got their life together. You know, they're not a gambler. They have their life together. They are doing more. They are achieving more. They are, you know, living the life that actually, you know what, I could be living, and I should be living, and I would be living if I'd never taken up this bloody addiction. But you're not going to get there overnight. If you're sitting here like I was at my worst point, and I was demotivated, and most importantly, I was still gambling, and I was £40,000 in debt, and I didn't have any money in my bank account or my wallet, and I couldn't do things I wanted to do. There was nothing I could do on an individual day that would make that all go away. I couldn't wake up the next day a reformed addict. I couldn't wake up the next day with that debt gone and, you know, with money in my bank account and all the mental health issues disappeared, because it's just not possible. So what can I do? Well, the next day I just have to make sure that I live my life in a better way than the way I did the day before. And if I can do that, and if I can succeed in comparing myself positively against the Phil that was yesterday, then I have taken a step closer towards my ultimate goal. If I aim towards my ultimate goal and I compare myself against that every day, I'm just going to get demotivated. Oh, I'm still in debt. I'm still skint. You know, I've still got these mental health issues. I've still got relationships I need to rebuild. Oh, it's pointless. It's rubbish. And you just go back, you know, into your bad habits and your bad ways. Take someone like myself. I'm quite happy to use my own failings to explain this point. I am an overweight guy. You know, and the reason I'm overweight is because I don't eat too much, but I eat the wrong food. I drink too much beer, and I sit on my arse all day at work and making videos. So that's why I'm overweight. It's not anyone else's fault. It's not the universe's fault. It's my fault. I would like to look, you know, or have a body like, I don't know, Daniel Craig, say. I know he's getting on a bit, but he's a good benchmark. I'd love to have a body like that. Okay, but that's not going to happen. There's nothing I can do today that's going to suddenly miraculously transform this into, you know, chiseled six-pack and big biceps and the whole rest of it. Nothing I can do about that today. But what I can do is, if yesterday I sat on my arse, you know, eating crisps and drinking beer and not moving very much, if today I go and have a 5k walk, you know, running really isn't my strong point, go and have a 5k walk, maybe cut down on the food a little bit, just be a bit better. Be a better, more healthy human than I was yesterday. And if I continue to do that, and I continue to strive to improve myself day on day on day, then eventually I will get closer. I won't necessarily achieve the you know, this perfection or whatever that I'm aiming for, but I will get closer to a place where I'm happy, and I will be happier, because even if I haven't actually reached that ultimate goal, I will have made significant improvements, and I will be feeling the benefits. And you'll find that once you start feeling benefits in one respect, you start feeling them in another. So whatever your goal is, whether it is to quit gambling, you know, whether it is to lose weight, to be fitter, to be healthier, to start a business, to start a YouTube channel, to get a promotion, to build up more, you know, change your friendship group, expand your friendship group, you know, take up a hobby, take up a skill, learn something new, whatever. We all have goals, we all have aims and ambitions. Okay? Rather than sit there and look at this pie in the sky, almost unobtainable, you know, best case scenario, you know, this benchmark you set yourself, just do something that will improve your position from where you were yesterday. And like I say, that might be just for today. You know, you don't gamble one day at a time. And just for today, you don't have a beer. Just for today, you actually eat something a bit healthier. It doesn't have to be super healthy. I'm not talking quinoa salad here, you know, just cut that down. Go for a walk rather than sit on your ass. You know, if you want to start a business, do something. Take a step, even spend an hour on it. You know, spend an hour learning an instrument rather than watching an hour's worth of YouTube. Just do something positive. Make improvements from the day before. And like I say, This isn't my advice. This is something that came from someone far more clued up, far more intelligent than myself. And thank you to Dr. Peterson for that advice, as I think that really has helped in my recovery and hopefully helped me improve my life in other ways outside of gambling. Cheers for watching, guys. Appreciate it. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next video.